Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you straight today. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. I'm here to tell you the truth, the kind that stings at first but heals you in the end. Let me tell you something real, something that might just save your heart from years of unnecessary pain. Your worth does not decrease because someone couldn't see it. Your value doesn't shrink just because a man walked away. The moment you start tying your self-worth to the actions of another human being, you give away your power. You hand over the steering wheel of your life to someone who didn't even care enough to stay. There are people in this world who will look you in the face, see all your love, your loyalty, your effort, your beauty, your intelligence, and still choose someone else. Not because you're not enough, but because they're not capable of recognizing enough when it's right in front of them. Some people don't know what gold looks like because they've been playing with stones their whole life. And if you let that break you, if you let that make you think you weren't good enough, you're doing yourself a disservice. You are not defined by who stays or who leaves. You are not defined by the one who ghosted you, the one who cheated, the one who made you feel like you had to compete to be chosen. Your value was set the day you were born. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. No breakup, no betrayal, no rejection can take that away. You are not a temporary fix. You are not a fill in the gap. You are not someone's backup plan. You are a whole blessing, and if someone doesn't see that, that's their loss, not yours. Let me break it down for you. When someone walks out of your life and chooses someone else, don't let that shake your foundation. Don't sit there replaying every conversation, blaming yourself, wondering what you could have done better. You could have done everything right and still not been enough for someone who wasn't ready. But that's not on you, that's on them. You don't control how someone loves, how someone values, how someone chooses. What you do control is how you respond. You respond by standing up, by reclaiming your identity, by reminding yourself who you are. You respond by refusing to lower your standards just to keep someone in your life who was never meant to stay. You respond by not shrinking yourself for a man who couldn't handle your full size. You respond by walking in your truth, head high, heart intact, and soul unshaken. Because if you base your worth on someone else's choice, you'll always feel like you're not enough. You'll always feel like you have to change to mold yourself, to hustle for love that should come freely. That's not love, that's survival. And you weren't born to survive love, you were born to thrive in it. I need you to understand that someone choosing another woman over you doesn't mean she's better. It doesn't mean she's more beautiful or more worthy. It just means he made a choice. And you're not going to let that choice define you because you know what you bring to the table. You know how deeply you love. You know how loyal you are, how you show up, how you stay through storms most people run from. That's who you are. And if someone couldn't recognize that, that says nothing about you and everything about them. There will be someone one day who won't have to think twice about you, who won't compare you, won't question you, won't treat your love like it's disposable. But you'll never meet that person if you keep trying to convince someone to stay who already left in his heart. Let him go, because your worth doesn't begin where his love ends. It's been there all along. Unshaken, unbothered, and unstoppable. When someone walks out of your life, it feels like a punch to the soul, especially when you gave them everything. You gave them loyalty, patience, love, and support, and still they chose someone else. That kind of rejection cuts deep. It makes you question yourself in ways you never thought possible. You start asking what's wrong with you, what you lacked, what you should have done differently. But what if I told you that this rejection wasn't a punishment? What if I told you it was protection? What if that door didn't slam in your face to hurt you, but to save you from something that was aligned with your future? Sometimes the people we want the most are the ones God knows will hold us back the most. And while you're trying to hold on to them, He's trying to pull you toward your purpose. But the thing about God is, He won't force you. He'll let you cry, beg, plead, and still let that person walk if they were never meant to stay. That hurts in the moment, but later you'll see it was the greatest act of love. See, when we experience rejection, it's easy to believe we're being abandoned, forgotten, or punished. But often rejection is the very thing that puts us on the path to something greater. It's the divine nudge that says, this isn't it. You're settling. I have more for you. But because we're so focused on what we lost, we can't see what's ahead. We get stuck crying over the door that closed and miss the one that's wide open just around the corner. You don't see it right away. It takes time. Sometimes you won't understand why that person left until you meet someone who treats you the way you deserve. Sometimes you won't know why the relationship didn't work out until years later when you've healed and grown and realized that version of you would have never survived where you were trying to stay. That's when you'll say, thank God they left. That's when you'll finally understand the protection in the pain. It's not easy. Rejection shakes you. It makes you question your identity, your beauty, your worth. But I'm here to tell you, the person who rejected you wasn't the source of your value. They were just a mirror reflecting what they could and couldn't handle. And sometimes people reject what they don't understand. Sometimes they reject what they're not ready for. Sometimes they reject what they can't match. So if someone chose another woman over you, let them go. That was never your door. That was never your destination. That was a detour, not a dead end. And while you over here crying about being left behind, you're actually being pushed ahead. You're being freed from someone who couldn't love you the way you need to be loved. You're being released from something that would have only drained you further. That's not rejection. That's redirection. When God allows someone to leave your life, it's never random. It's strategic. It's intentional. He knows what you don't. He sees what you can't. You're over here trying to hold on to what looks good, but He's trying to give you what is good. Someone who will see you, value you, choose you. Someone who won't make you beg for love. Someone who won't leave when things get hard. So yes, it hurts when they walk away. Yes, it's confusing when they choose someone else, but that's not the end of your story. That's just a chapter where things start to shift. That's the moment where your story begins to rise. Don't curse the rejection. Learn from it. Let it grow you. Let it move you. Let it remind you that you were never created to be chosen by someone who couldn't see your light. Rejection is not the enemy. It's the compass. And it's pointing you towards something better than you ever imagined. There's a certain kind of heartbreak that comes from holding on to someone who's already gone. Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. They're not present, not invested, not showing up, and yet you're still gripping tightly to the idea of what it used to be or what you hoped it would become. It's one of the most painful places to be, stuck between the reality that someone has left and the illusion that maybe, just maybe, they'll come back and love you right. But the truth is, holding on to someone who has chosen to leave will only keep you from receiving the love that's meant for you. Sometimes it's not the pain of the breakup that holds you back. It's the refusal to let go. You keep replaying the memories, holding on to old text messages, stalking social media, trying to find clues, trying to make sense of what happened. You convince yourself that maybe if you'd done something different, he would have stayed. Maybe if you were more this or less that, things would have worked out. But that mindset is a trap. You're stuck in a story that's already ended, hoping to rewrite it with someone who has already walked away. Here's the harsh truth. You can't open your heart to the one who's meant for you if it's still full of someone who let it break. You can't step into the future while dragging the baggage of someone who chose not to go with you. Love doesn't thrive in desperation. It doesn't grow where there's fear of being alone. And it certainly doesn't bloom when you're watering dead roots, trying to make something live that's already withered and gone. When someone leaves, it's not your job to convince them to come back. It's not your responsibility to fix what they broke when they chose to walk away. It's your responsibility to heal. It's your responsibility to stand up, wipe your tears, and choose yourself again, because every moment you spend holding on to the wrong person is a moment you delay the right one from finding you. And the right one, the one who's truly meant for you, they won't make you beg for attention. They won't make you question your place in their life. They won't leave you wondering why you're not enough. The one who's meant for you will see your heart and honor it. They'll choose you without hesitation. But they can't find you if you're still emotionally tied to the one who already let you go. Sometimes we stay attached to someone because we're afraid of starting over. We're afraid of the unknown. But starting over isn't failure, it's a fresh start. It's a second chance to do it differently, to love with more wisdom, to receive what we truly deserve. Letting go doesn't mean you didn't love deeply. It means you love yourself enough to release what no longer serves you. And I get it, you miss them. You miss what you had. But missing someone isn't a reason to keep yourself stuck in pain. Missing someone doesn't mean they're supposed to return. It just means you're human. It means you felt something real. But just because it was real doesn't mean it was meant to last forever. Some people come into our lives to teach us not to stay. And once that lesson is learned, it's time to move on. No matter how much it hurts, letting go isn't weakness. It's courage, it's strength, it's power. It's saying, I deserve more than to be someone's second choice. It's making room for someone who sees you and says, you're exactly what I've been looking for. But that person can't step into your life if your heart is still holding space for someone who already chose to leave. Set yourself free. You are not meant to stay stuck in a story that no longer includes you. The person who's meant for you is out there, but you'll never meet them if you keep reaching back to what's already gone. Real love doesn't need to compete, to beg, or to convince anyone of its worth. When it's right, it's known, and when it's mutual, it's effortless. But too many people find themselves trying to prove that they're worth staying for, worth fighting for, worth loving, all while the other person is busy looking elsewhere. That is not love, that's survival mode. that's trying to earn what should be given freely. If you find yourself begging to be chosen, it's time to step back and realize you're not in the kind of love your heart truly deserves. You should never have to sit in silence waiting for someone to decide between you and someone else. You should never have to wonder if you're good enough to be prioritized. Love isn't a game of options. When someone really sees you, they don't hesitate. They don't weigh you against anyone else. They don't need time to figure out if you're the one. They just know. But if you're in a situation where someone makes you feel like a backup plan, like you waiting your turn, like you have to prove your worth over and over again, that's not love. That's a sign to walk away. There is no dignity in begging for love. There is no peace in trying to earn someone's attention. And there is no fulfillment in constantly trying to be enough for someone who doesn't even know what enough looks like. You can love someone deeply, purely, and completely, but if they don't choose you back, that love will eventually become a wound, because love alone is not enough. It has to be mutual. It has to be returned. You can't carry the weight of a relationship alone and expect it not to break you. If someone is unsure about you, believe them. If they're inconsistent, pay attention. If they say they love you but keep entertaining someone else, understand that words mean nothing without action. A person who truly loves you will not risk losing you. They won't make you compete for their time, affection, or commitment. They won't have you wondering where you stand in their life. Love doesn't create confusion, it creates clarity. It feels safe, it feels steady, it feels like being seen, not overlooked. The pain of being passed over, of watching someone you gave everything to choose someone else, can feel unbearable. You start questioning what she has that you don't. You try to change yourself, make yourself smaller, more quiet, more agreeable, hoping maybe then he'll finally choose you. But love should never cost you your authenticity. You should never have to shrink to fit into someone else's indecision. The right person will never ask you to become less just so they can feel like more. Choosing you should never feel like a burden. It should never feel like a task someone is forced to do. If a man has to be convinced to choose you, he's already made his decision, and it's not you. And that's okay, because the one who's meant for you will choose you with confidence, not hesitation. He won't make you beg for love. He'll give it to you freely, abundantly, without conditions. That's the kind of love you deserve. The kind you don't have to earn. The kind that feels like coming home. So if someone walked away, if someone picked another woman, if someone made you feel like love was a battle you had to fight alone, let them go. You don't need that kind of love. You don't need to chase someone to be seen, to be valued, to be chosen. What you need is to believe that love doesn't require you to lose yourself. It requires you to stand tall in who you are, knowing the right person will see you and say, "There's no one else I want." You don't have to beg to be chosen. You just have to be brave enough to stop asking for what should be given without question. At first, it feels like the world just dropped out from under you. The man you loved, trusted, gave your time and energy to, walked away, maybe without warning, maybe without explanation, maybe choosing someone else in the process. And in that moment, it feels like everything you believed in crumbled. Your plans, your vision for the future, all shattered in a heartbeat. You question everything. Was any of it real? Was I not enough? What does she have that I don't? And those thoughts spiral until you're drowning in your own doubts. But what if that man walking out was the greatest thing that ever happened to you? See, sometimes when a door closes, it doesn't feel like a door. It feels like a punch in the chest. But that same door, once it's shut, keeps you from going backward. It protects you from reliving the same cycle. It gives you space to breathe again, to rediscover the parts of yourself that were fading while you were busy holding on to something already broken. A man walking out might feel like abandonment, but often it's divine protection. It's a necessary ending to create room for a beginning you can't yet see. You might not see it right away. The pain blinds you for a while. It makes you believe you've lost something precious. But as time passes, you begin to see the cracks in the foundation you once thought was solid. You start to realize how much of yourself you were losing just to keep him. How you were compromising your peace just to avoid being alone. How you were accepting less than what you truly deserved. All because you were afraid of starting over. When he walked away, he didn't just leave you. He freed you. Freed you from settling, from constantly trying to prove your worth, from fighting for someone who wasn't fighting for you. It's in the silence after he leaves that your real strength starts to rise. That's when you remember what it feels like to choose yourself. That's when you start rebuilding, not for him, but for you. That's when you grow in ways you never could while you were trying to hold on to something that wasn't meant to last. A man walking out forces you to face yourself, and in that process, you learn to stand taller, love deeper, and walk stronger. Don't mistake his exit as a loss. Sometimes people exit because their season in your life is over. Sometimes they leave because they were never meant to stay. And that's not your fault. You could have loved him better than anyone else, and he still would have left, not because you weren't enough, but because he wasn't ready, willing, or capable of receiving the kind of love you offer. That's not your burden to carry. The blessing comes when you realize that his absence created space for someone better, someone who won't need to be chased, someone who won't leave when things get hard, someone who will recognize your value without needing to lose you first. But you'll never meet that man if you keep holding on to the one who walked out. You'll never experience the fullness of the love that's meant for you if you stuck mourning someone who couldn't appreciate it. So yes, it hurts, it shakes you, but eventually that same pain becomes the foundation of your power. That same heartbreak becomes the soil where your healing grows. One day you'll look back and say, that man walking out was the moment I truly walked into myself. And when that day comes, you'll no longer cry over the one who left. You'll thank him. Because if he hadn't walked away, you might have never discovered just how much more was waiting for you on the other side. What felt like the end was just the beginning of something far more beautiful, something you deserve. There's a certain kind of pain that comes not just from being left, but from being made to feel like you were never enough. When someone chooses another woman, the immediate question that rushes to your mind is, what does she have that I don't? You start picking yourself apart in the mirror, trying to find the flaws he must have seen. You start doubting the way you loved, the way you gave, the way you showed up. But the truth is, his inability to see your value says everything about him and nothing about you. Your worth does not rise or fall based on someone else's recognition. It isn't something that needs to be proven or earned. It doesn't disappear just because someone didn't choose you. You are worthy simply because you are, because of the way your heart loves without holding back, because of your loyalty, your strength, your softness, your depth. If he couldn't see that, if he chose to walk away from it, that's a reflection of his own limitations, not of your value. It's easy to internalize rejection, to believe that if someone left, it must mean you weren't good enough. But that's a lie pain tells you. That's your broken heart trying to find logic in loss. The truth is, people often leave what they don't understand. They walk away from what they can't handle. And some will even run from real love because it exposes the parts of them they're not ready to face. You could have been everything good, everything sincere, everything steady, and still he would have left. Not because you were lacking, but because he was. When someone walks out, especially for someone else, it feels like a deep betrayal. It feels personal. But sometimes people are just trying to fill their own voids. They're searching for something, and when they can't find it within themselves, they look for it in other people. That doesn't mean you weren't enough. It means they were lost. And being chosen by someone who's lost doesn't mean you've been found. It just means they're still wandering, and dragging you along in their confusion only slows your journey. You don't have to spend your life proving your worth to people who aren't even qualified to hold your heart. Stop trying to be seen by someone who's looking in another direction. Stop waiting for validation from someone who couldn't value you when they had you. Your value doesn't shrink because someone failed to see it. A diamond is still a diamond, even if someone walks past it. And a queen is still a queen, even when the wrong king fails to recognize her crown. So let him go. Let go of the idea that his absence makes you less. Let go of the belief that her presence means you weren't enough. You don't have to compete for what's meant for you. You don't have to chase love. The right love won't need convincing. It will see you, choose you, and stay with you, not because you begged, but because you were always worth it. Use this time to remember who you are, not who you were when you were begging him to stay, not who you became trying to hold it all together, but who you were before you forgot your own value. She's still there underneath the heartbreak and the disappointment. She's strong, powerful, worthy, whole. And she doesn't need a man's approval to shine. Let this heartbreak be the moment you stop settling for being an option. Let it be the fire that reignites your confidence. Don't let his choice define you. Let your response to it empower you. You are not unworthy. You are not replaceable. You are not lacking. You are rare. You are radiant, and the right one, the one with eyes clear enough to see your soul, will never make you question that. He won't leave. He won't choose someone else. He'll thank God he found you.